Good evening, everybody, and a very warm welcome to One Hub Racing Season 23, round number 5 here, the top tier of this league. And we head to Suzuka Circuit for the Japanese Grand Prix, and for a lot of the drivers, it's going to be very hot where they are due to it being very humid and being we're in the middle of a heat wave in Europe. But hopefully the drivers can manage it nonetheless. My name is Jess Ball, and joining me in the commentary box once again, as he's done all season, is Steve. Steve, how you doing?
I'm very good, Jess. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great. We've got some drivers already on lap times. So we may as well go on board with a few drivers currently at the moment. We got some new faces as well as returning faces as well, and some new change to some team lineups, but we will go through that in just a second. As we're running on board with Matt now as he heads towards the very tight hairpin, which can be a very great overtaking as well, and heading towards turn 8 and 9. Very technical corner, and as you approach the famous spoon curve at turns 10 or 11, double apex left-hander, short shift into 5th on entry and 4th on exit. Be careful not to run wide through this uphill section as you head towards 130R. As you head towards turn 13, flat out left-hander, brave and precise through here for this corner. Keep as close as possible to the inside line through the Casio triangle. Downshift into 3rd gear as you head through that final chicane. DRS zone deployed, and he's going to go across the line, and it's going to be pole position for Matt with a 126.9, and it's quite a technical circuit, and drivers need to be aware that qualifying could be crucial around here.
Yeah, this circuit qualifying is extremely crucial. You pretty much only have the 2 overtaking opportunities, actually no, maybe 3, heading down into turn 1 and 2, into the hairpin, and of course into the final chicane. They're your real main overtaking opportunities, so qualifying is crucial around here. Also, just keeping it consistent around the circuit like this, easy to pick up warnings, to easy to pick up penalties, and it's just easy to crash in general. One tyre onto the grass, you could be going around. This circuit, very, very difficult. It's a enjoy to watch the cars go around here, and that it always produces good racing, does Japan, so hopefully we get another good race here today.
Yes, Nicola Thoro currently leads the Drivers' Championship currently. No, he's not leading the Drivers' Championship. It was Timo who got it after his win last time out, but the gap is separating by 2 points between the top 2. And then we got Brendan on, I believe, 60 points. He's not here tonight due to an injury he sustained early on in the week, but I'd like to wish him a speedy recovery, and hopefully he can return soon. But if not, I must stress that health is more important than racing. And he did promise that you would watch the stream. So hello, Brendan, if you're tuning in, whether you're watching this live or post-event, we appreciate your presence. But yes, Timo is your championship leader with Nicola Sora in 2nd. We've got Matt, who's in 5th on 40 points. We've got Jayco in 6th on 37. Colin and Nick doing very well in 7th and 8th. And then we've got Casper in 9th on 28. Carl Mentis in 10th on 24. Nicola Soro is heading towards Spoon Curve now. We've got quite a few changes. Obviously, Faust has dropped from the league, but we do have Owen Wyatt replacing him in the McLaren for the rest of the season. He is an ERT driver and also a fellow commentator as well, but he is racing it for the rest of the season. Great to have someone who is pretty much a familiar face to One Hour Racing and the league race community in general race with us as well. I'm used to him racing in the Aston Martin, so it's quite weird that he's in the McLaren, but nice to see that if Brendan was racing tonight, we would have had a full grid, but we got a replacement for Faust anyway, and we'll see how he does as well. Didn't post anything in pre-race interview, so for him it's an open mind, for him an open season, because obviously he's come into it fresh-faced into this championship with hardly any expectations, and that's sometimes what you need going into a championship.
Yeah, I mean, fresh face, you are not going to be in the fight for the championship because obviously you've missed so many rounds. It's going to be difficult, if actually possible, to catch up, but you just go out, do what you can. That's the whole point of coming in at this mid-season. You just do as good as you can, maybe get a few wins, a few podiums, or just constantly get inside the points. It's just what you need as someone coming in mid-season. Of course, you're not going to expect to win the championship or just dominate the field. You just want to get your head down, score as many points as you possibly can in those select few races. He actually goes up to third place with a 1 minute 27.229. But yeah, mid-season drivers, you don't focus on the championship. You just take each race as their own.
Quite a few invalidations as well, which I'm quite surprised at. I think the only place you can invalidate here is around the Casio Triangle, but Suzuka was first built back in 1962. It was designed by John Hugenholtz, and this track is situated 30 miles southwest of Nagoya. It has 27 laps, 5.807 kilometers, 1 DRS zone, and it has, as far as I'm aware, it has 18 corners. Fastest lap record on the race was set by Lewis Hamilton, 1:30.982. And by the way, there was a 5-second time penalty added to both Larkin's and Evans' race time from last time out in Brazil, because Evans attempted to go down the inside of Larkin into turn 1. Larkin moves across Evans, causing contact by not leaving the required 1 car width, and then the stewards deem Larkin at fault for this particular incident. And then the next part of it, Evans is not far alongside and makes contact with Larkin's rear wheel, causing both drivers to spin. So that was one steward's penalty from that front as well. We'll go through the pre-race interviews in just a moment, as Evans is going to get a nice tow from one of the AlphaTauris. I believe that's Timo, actually, heading towards 130R.
Yeah, very nice tow there from one of the AlphaTauris heading into the Casio Triangle. Now, very hard traction zone. You've got to be super careful on the power as he now heads through the final corner to the line. What is it? It's P7 for Posh Evans. A decent lap time there, 1:27.538. Only just behind Boom Pie in front and about half a second off pole position. So can easily be found. And he could be in a contender for pole. It depends where he can find the time. If he made mistakes on the lap, we're just going to have to wait and see. Larkin goes up into P9, 1:27.846. But yeah, a lot of invalidations by drivers. Nicolas Soro on an outlap. Timo, our championship leaders, on a lap as he's heading into the 2 Degner corners into turn Degner 2. Now a big slide on the exit of the second Degner as he now heads up into the hairpin down to second gear. That's Lukey going up into second place there. Very good lap time there from Lukey. He's not really been up at the front end in qualifying. So Lukey with a very, very strong lap from him there. Now heading in to Spoon Curb for Timo, down to 6th, then he shifts down to 4th, then you might go back up to 5th on the exit. Easy to invalidate, needs to be careful through there, and does. Now heading up into 130R, flat out. It's going to be such an amazing corner to watch these cars go round. 8th gear, keep it pinned, keep it all the way to the outside, into the Casio Triangle, down to 3rd gear, over the first curb, over the second, keep it pinned on the exit. Be super careful on the traction while doing it. To the line for Timo, what would it be? It's good enough for P3, a 1:27.052 for the AlphaTauri driver.
But we still got one of the championship contenders on a lap time as Fatality has crashed out somewhere, and I think it's just before you head towards 130R. So we'll see if we can go on board with that particular driver. Now I think his car is gone, unfortunately, so we couldn't see it, but that is his qualifying done and dusted. He will be starting no higher than P14 as Nicolas Oro. His car is in P2, a few points behind Timo in the championship. He's looking to secure the championship lead. He comes across the line, and it is pole position of 1:26.568. And we got Waitsy on the lap time as well. A few drivers in this division recently got moved to ERT because due to the folding of RDR. It's a bit of a shame to see that team go, but at least the guys at ERT was able to give those drivers a home. So of course we've got Waitsy and we've got Casper, both in ERT. Their first race in this division as well, and it's Waitsy's first race with no ABS, which I can't believe it actually, but he's not doing too bad in practice. We'll see how he does in the race as Matt comes across the line into P1, provisional pole position. Waitsy only managing P17, but with his first race on ABS, I think he's going to take it so and steady to start off with.
Yeah, Matt's with a very, very good lap time there, and yeah, ABS, it's difficult to learn. It's probably the most challenging out of the 3 no assists, so it's going to be a learning process, but it will just have to wait and see what happens. But Not many people will be on laps at the moment. Most people will be on their in laps, heading into the pit lane, or even in the pit lane already and just waiting to get a new set of boots on, fresh tyres, get them on the car, and then come back out for the final runs of the session. But Mats has had a really strong qualifying so far, only just ahead of Nicolo Soro though, so his pole position is not safe at the moment. But a track like Japan, easy to invalidate, so it's easy to be able to keep those tighter leads at the top. But we're just going to have to wait and see. Some of these drivers are very, very quick, very, very consistent. And if you want to sort of get rid of any track limit woes, you want to do it in qualifying.
You definitely do. And speaking of the Manufacturers Championship, the constructors, AlphaTauri are currently leading by quite some margin. Both of their drivers have been scoring very highly in the drivers, with both the AlphaTauris in the top 5, as it were, in the championship, and pretty much scoring in every single round, which is really great to see from the pair of them. I wonder if they can keep this up going into this round. We've got a few more rounds to go before the next break weeks. We got Japan this week. We got Las Vegas next week, 17th of September, the newest track on the 100 calendar and the F1 calendar, and those drivers will be going into it even before the F1 drivers are, so we'll see how that goes as well. Williams, by the way, are currently sitting in second place in the championship, so with the likes of Konzo, he's getting up there, and Brendan, them scoring quite a lot for the team. We've got Nicolo Soro has retired from the session, so I think he's had enough, or he thinks that he can't go any quicker than P2, which is fair enough, as Boompai is about to start his lap time. Had a really good result last time out. Is looking to get a really great result this time out as well. Now, speaking of Nicolo Soro, whilst he's retired in the pit lane, he likes this track, and he feels like it's one of the best in the F1 calendar, and he hopes to finish in a good position tonight, but it will depend on the strategy call as well. And he said, like we were saying, it's going to be crucial. And I'm really looking at the last question about engine penalties. P1's the only division that has no drivers taking their engine penalties in Japan. In the other 2 tiers, we've had at least one driver decide, yeah, I'm going to take an engine penalty. Whereas this tier, it hasn't. And by looking at their answers saying that qualifying is even critical around here, I'm not really that surprised looking at it.
Yeah, I mean, you would want to take it at a track like Las Vegas next week, your engine penalty, easy to overtake, and just it's qualifying so much less crucial around a circuit like Vegas, whereas Japan, it's tight, it's twisty, you only have those select few moments to go for it, and you still got technical corners before those overtaking opportunities, so it's super difficult to be within the but just overtaking range to go for a send down the inside. So qualifying is super, super critical, and taking a penalty might undo a very good race result. Say if you have good race pace but you take a penalty and you're all the way at the back, you can't utilise that pace, it could be critical to maybe even say, if Nicolo Soro took it here, could be critical to his championship. So
exactly.
Engine penalties, you would want to take it around a circuit like Vegas, easy to overtake, easy
Belgium.
to keep with the car in front of you. Belgium as well, yeah, that's another track where it's easy to overtake, especially with just quick circuits. The non-technical ones are the ones you want to take your engine penalties at, because they have plenty of overtaking opportunities for you.
And don't forget that long straight in Las Vegas as well. I think we could see a lot of overtakes through there. But to be honest, I was one of the drivers who took the engine penalty today. I started last and I ended up finishing P7. So to be fair, me taking my engine penalty in Japan kind of helped, because I think there were other drivers that had a few issues, which kind of helped me in a way. So yeah, at least my engine penalty is out of the way. But don't forget, these drivers do have to take it at some point in the season, otherwise they risk a 20-point deduction, and if their engine runs out at a race, they DNF from that race. So very critical that they take it at the right track. We have seen quite a lot of drivers actually, as Owen White has retired from the session. He's binned it in the S section. Not ideal for him, but Casper comes across the line and he's going to be P8 there. And qualifying is done and dusted here at 100 Racing's P1 tier, as we're waiting for a few more drivers to finish their lap times. Colin comes across the line. He slots himself into P3. That's pretty decent for him. I believe it's either Nicolo or Boompai on a lap next. It is Boompai. He's purple sector 2, but we'll see if he has enough ERS to make it through the final few corners of the Casio Triangle then. He goes up to the line, did very well a couple of weeks ago. Can he do well here after a very good race in Brazil? Sorts himself into P9, pretty decent from him. We've got both the Alfa Romeos come across the line, Porsche Evans in P3 and C Unarmed in 7th spot. What about Car Mentalist in P18? Sorts himself into P9. I know he could do a lot better because he was fighting for the top 3 a couple of races ago. Axelock, I believe, it's backed off a little bit. He's in 7th gear, so I think he's backed off a little bit. But Matt sorts himself into P1. What about Lukey? He's invalidated, so he can't go any quicker. Timo, he heads towards the Casio Triangle now as well. And Boom was actually improving on this one before he messed up Spoon Corner. So a shame for Boom, but we've got Team up to the line in P2. And AlphaTauri 1-2 currently. Here comes J. Cole, the race winner from Qatar. Can he get pole to the death here in Japan? Nope, he can't. So that is it then for qualifying, and it is Max, who's been looking quick all session long, who's going to be starting this race from pole position.
Brilliant qualifying for the AlphaTauri duo, and Mats and Timo, plenty of pace in their cars. Nicolo Soro behind his championship rival as well, Timo, so that's certainly not what he wants, but look at that. Not even a tenth separating the top 3. That's things you love to see. Posh Evans with a good qualifying there. I mean, he has recovered from his injury, so you would expect him to be up there now after a few races of poor form, obviously. But J. Cole, ever since that win in Qatar, hasn't really been able to hook up either his qualifying or his races. So J. Cole really been struggling recently, but very good qualifyings all round. And Matt's with a very, very good display there in his AlphaTauri.
So that's your order then for the Japanese Grand Prix, with Matt and Timo occupying the front row. And I'm sure that a couple of drivers would have really wanted to have scored higher in qualifying based on their responses in the pre-race interviews. And I can confirm it is a dry race. I have been told by the drivers earlier on that it is going to be a dry race. So thank you to all of, well, I think it was Lukey who told me about the weather. Much appreciated, Lukey. But we did have someone who was called in to the drivers' press conference. That was Cian Armed, and he was asked, you sit P4 in the championship. How are you doing in relation to your pre-season goals? Who have you found to be your closest competitor so far? And he said, for my pre-season goals, I was hoping to be in the podium by now, but there is still a chance for that. I wanted to make an instant impact and put my name out there and hopefully get that first win this season. And he's saying that his biggest on-track rival at the moment has to be Colin. Colin is also a pleasure to have on-track battles with. You know that he will race fair and he knows when too far is too far. And I have to agree with you. Every time I race with Colin, he gives enough space as well. And there was also the rivalries as well between Larkin and Evans, saying after what happened between you guys last time out and having a week break, everything all cool between you guys. Will we see more aggressive racing between you two? And Larkin replied, we've raced on many occasions before, and I believe this was the first incident we've had. As far as I'm concerned, it's water under the bridge, and I look forward to racing this weekend. So for Larkin's sake, I'm glad there's no bad blood between Larkin and Posh Evans after that steward's inquiry as well. And for Cian Armed, he's still very confident going into the rest of the season. So that is great to see when the press was asking those 3 drivers what they thought as well. But we're about to get underway. Any thoughts going into this one, Steve?
It is going to be a more strategic battle here today, you would think. Of course, a 2-stop, and we're about to get underway now. But yeah, strategic battle. And, oh yes, I forgot there was a formation. I'm so used to leagues having no formation. That's my mistake. But, yeah, strategic battle. A bit of DRS train maybe from the top 5, top 6 drivers. But, yeah, not many moves I would expect until the final few laps of this race.
Yes, we've got the tyres in front of you. So we've got Matt, Timo, and Nicola Soro on the softs. We've got Posh Evans, Colin Mason, and Lukey on the mediums. Cian Armed, Owen, Dara Hunter on the soft. We've got Car Mentalist, Larkin, Axelot, Casper on the mediums. We've got kind of like a group in a way. There's no one that is on the odd one out pretty much. Bumpai, J. Cole, Nick, Waitseat on the soft, and Vitality and Contra on the mediums. My suggestion is if you're near the front or near the back, start on the softs. If you're like right in the middle pack, start on the mediums. But to be fair, I did a race obviously just now because I'm in the P3 tier. Softs can last 8 laps comfortably, 9 laps give or take. And it also depends on the setup as well with your tyre pressures. But the softs feel pretty decent around it and can last quite a bit of time. So if someone was taking an engine penalty, they probably would have done 2 soft stints. But if they didn't use much of their soft tyres during qualifying, maybe going on to the softs at the end, like doing soft, medium, soft, may be the way to go potentially as well. But again, we'll have to wait and see. A lot of drivers feeling very good around this circuit. Colin said he was going to be doing some more practice today, which he did. I can back him up on that. He's feeling good. Scorpion saying it's not too much point in practicing, also known as Axolot, because he keeps spinning out all the time. Casper saying he's done some practice, hopefully enough, and he feels like it's a good track for him, but he's only starting 13th. But if he thinks he can climb up, you never know what could happen for him. But we're about to get underway. I'm not going to predict too much into these results, because usually the ones I predict for top 3 usually go out and bin it. But yeah, we're about to get underway for some great racing.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one, and these drivers going to put on a show. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in this one. Drama always a thing around Japan. Easy to make mistakes, so it's just going to be about who's consistent up at the front here and what some drivers do with the strategy. But here we are, the last car pulling up now. That is Vampire, I think, heading up to the final. But yep, there he is, and we're about to get underway.
Yes, we are, Steve. We're about to get underway for the final race of the night. Welcome to those who just joined us from the other leagues and tiers. The 5 red lights coming on. Matt's on pole, Timo alongside, and we are underway here in a Suzuka. Nicolas Soro's got a really good start, actually. So did Matt. I think they all got away very, very well. And Nicola tried to go down the inside. So was Cian Armed as well on Colin Mason. Through the S's, very technical, as I was saying earlier on as well. We got, I think, both the Aston Martins trying to make headway at the moment. People at the back not doing so at the moment. Owen's made his way past Lukey up to 7th. So he's had a good getaway. Carl Menzies up into 9th spot. Delta not so much as they now head towards the Dunlop curve for the first time, and now heading towards the 2 Degler curbs as well, which can be very difficult, I've noticed around here, to get it right. We've seen a few people binning it in the lower divisions earlier on tonight as well, as Konzo's dropped a little bit down into P19, so he's not had the best of starts, but through the hairpin for the first time, Carmentis makes his way past Delta Hunter up into 9th, so good start from Carmentis. Axelot almost got past his teammate, but hasn't done so right now, but top 3 remain as they are.
Yeah, the top 3 got the start that they probably wanted. Maybe not Nicolas Sora. He would want to be ahead of Timo, but at the moment it's Matt with a very, very good getaway there. Very quick. Managed to pull away, but Timo is closing. He's going for a move down into the Casio triangle. Gets the move done on the brakes around the outside. Brilliant move there from Timo on his teammate. Matt probably didn't fight that one too hard like he would with Nicolas Soro. Here he comes now in the Haas to the inside. This will be for turn 1. But look at the slipstream that Mats is getting off his teammate. Nicolas Soro has to back out. Mats remains in P2 after dropping behind his teammate. Mats will now probably try and play rear gunner to Timo. Of course, these 3 drivers will maybe be on the same strategy in this race. But Mats is surely going to try to protect his teammate here and give him as many points as he possibly can.
So Timo, now you're race leader, and making sure you're staying ahead around the S's section is very, very critical. It is fast and flowing. Drivers need to keep a smooth line through there as well. And there's one thing that I forgot to point out is the curbs. One slight tap of the curbs in the S's section, and the car goes into either a wall or into the gravel trap. So let's hope these drivers do not do that, as Delta Hunter lost it in the hairpin and he's in the gravel trap, which is not ideal as he's got a bit of marbles on his tyres. That's one of the features on this game where you can pick up some marbles on his tyres as well. Shifting up through the gears, heading towards 130R, full power through here as well. DRS won't be activated until lap 3. Massive shout out, by the way, going to our sponsors, Next Level Racing, Aztec Sim Sports, the Mystery Shirt Box, Pure Sim Gear, Vespertine, and our partners, ERT, Elite Racing Team. A lot of drivers racing here tonight. And also the likes of SimGrid and Mental Health Foundation. It's good to talk if you're feeling down. No one wants to suffer in silence, as Timo has set the fastest lap of this race so far. DRS is activated Carmentelis gets past Lukey. What a move heading towards turn 1, and he didn't even need to use the DRS.
Yep, good move there from Carmentelis. Used that slipstream nicely. He's used a bit of his battery compared to Lukey. That's a yellow flag. That is for, I think, Delta Hunter again.
Yeah.
Making a mistake. Yeah, he's going slow out of turn 1. Wouldn't be surprised if we see him retire. I mean, you could keep going. Safety car is always an option around Japan. Of course, very tight, very twisty. The walls are always there to punish you, but now heading up into the hairpin with Timo. He's just keeping that distance between him and his teammate, and Mats is just trying to use that slipstream. He'll also use a bit of DRS to help him defend from Nicolo Soro. Posh Evans, though, very good start on his medium tyres, able to be keeping up with this top 3 at the moment. But look at Nicolo Soro through Spoon Curve. He's all over the back of Mats. It's surely inevitable that he's going to make the move. He's used a bit of battery, heading up into 130i. It's going to be interesting to see what setups the drivers are using, who's using more downforce, who's using less, as here we go. Will we see a move into the Casio triangle? No, we will not. Nicolo Soro will sit behind Mats through the chicane. Owen Wyatt gets past Colin Mason there for 6th place. Good move there from the McLaren driver, but back up to the top 3. Is Nicolo Soro close enough? No, he is not. Sitting behind into turn 1, but look how close Mats got to his teammate there, trying to push every last inch to stay ahead of Nicolo Soro.
Honestly, it's very great to see the top 3 really fighting it out. You don't know who's going to win, as Mats almost had a little bit of a squirm through the S section. I did say it was technical for a reason. Any mistake can cost a lot of time and potentially damage as well, as Nicolo Soro almost got past Mats, heading in towards Degner 1, now heading towards Degner 2 for the 4th time in this race. Timo managing pulling up a decent gap between himself and his teammate in Nicolo Soro as well. Who remembers the events that happened in 1989 and 1990? We hope it doesn't get to that extreme, where we saw Alan Prost and Ayrton Senna come together, and there was a question if Alan Prost deliberately crashed into Ayrton Senna that year. Well, Ayrton Senna later got disqualified due to keeping going with a damaged car and the nature in which he rejoined the track as well. So Prost won the title that year. They collided again in turn 1 in the following year, 1991, and Senna won the title. But luckily those two AlphaTauris are doing a lot better than what we saw Prost and Senna back in those years as well. But look at this, Soro's gained time once again on the two AlphaTauris. The AlphaTauris have got to work together here, as, oh, that is a bit early. Nicolo Soro comes in, and I thought people would come in around about lap 7-8 range. But he's coming in now, covering for that undercut, which is very powerful around this circuit. I don't get why he's pitted now. He's going to lose a chunk of time, and the mediums, they're not going to last forever. But he's probably got another plan in place, so we'll see what he can do down in 18th spot. But if I was him, I wouldn't have pitted now.
That's the thing, though, with Nicolo Soro. He always comes in very, very early, usually around about lap 3, lap 4, where he comes into the pit lane. Even when he's leading, he does it. So he just wants to go long in this tyre. I think that's Larkin with his huge slide heading out of Dunlop. Unfortunately, round that could maybe help Nicolo Soro at least get another car out of the way. But he always does this. He always boxes early, tries using as much of the medium tyre as he can, then moves over to the softer compound at the end. But the thing is, with the DRS down that main straight, he will lose a bit of time. Of course, the softs are still within their operating window. They're probably about a second slower a lap compared to what they used to be. But we'll just have to wait and see. Posh Evans is now all over the back of Mats, so maybe the softs are dying off quite quickly. Here comes the AlphaTauri against the Alfa Romeo. But Posh Evans not able to get through. Mats very good on the brakes heading into the Casio triangle, but it's had a slide coming out to the final corner. Will Posh Evans be able to get the move done? DRS wide open on the Alfa Romeo. He gets the move done on the AlphaTauri. Sion Arms might try and get involved in this one as well, but no. Posh Evans up into second place, and after a few poor performances so far this season, he's back up into the top 2, just like how it was in Qatar before that fuel failure.
There were 2 more drivers that came in as well, but both going on a different strategy. Nick waits here going on the hards, and I know Nick prefers the hard compounded tyres compared to everyone else, and he manages those tyres very well. So maybe he's going to go for a long soft stint at the end. Waitsy doing the same, and so is Delta Hunter, where he was forced to pit after that trouble as well. And according to my data that I've written for this Grand Prix, optimal pace for the soft tyres is 7 laps, and they could lose about 6% of tyre wear per lap. When I pitted, it was around about 45-50% when I managed to pit onto a set of the medium tyres. So as long as they can get into that window and pit around lap 8, they should be fine. But we'll see obviously how Nicola Soro can manage. You never know. He may pray for a safety car, which is why he probably pitted early so he can go onto another set of the medium compounded tyres. Mediums last about 10 laps optimally, but it can last 13 laps before punter territory. And we don't want to basically say the P word too many times on the stream, the puncher word, as it were. As Boom Pies gained a lot of time on Carmentis on this lap. Unarmed gets past Matt up into 4th place. So I don't think it's a soft dying. I think it's Matt struggling, because you can see everyone around him trying to get past. Unarmed did it, and I think Owen was almost going to do it this lap, and I think he could do it next lap as well. So could it be down to the tyre temperatures and the tyre pressures? I think that could be it. He may be running a bit too much tyre pressure than you might expect.
Yeah, he's just really struggling at the moment, is Matt. He's just got no grip at all, losing time to the likes of Posh Evans, Unarmed, Owen. They're just all just getting past him heading into the Casio Triangle. Got so much more pace than him through there. So don't know whether Matt has a more draggy setup, maybe not got the balance right in the car, but he is very, very close to Unarmed heading into the hairpin. Not able to get the move done though, but 1.1 now is the gap between Posh Evans and Timo, same with him and Unarmed. But Matt's just got no pace at the moment. He's used quite a bit of his battery as well, round about the 10% region in his Alpha Tauri. I mean, Unarmed in front of him. Still got a good 60% left. So let's have a look to see what happens as we head down into 130R. It's going to be a very, very tricky Casio Triangle for Matt. Of course, in the slipstream, we carry more speed than he would think. Nicola Soro gets past Konzo into Spoon Curve. Matt, though, will have DRS as they head down the main straight. And actually, him and Unarmed come into the pit lane, and so does Owen. Maybe they all try going for the undercut on each other, but it didn't work out. And now they're all coming down the pit lane. Let's see where they come out in relation to Nicola Soro.
Let's watch Nicola Soro as he heads towards the Casio Triangle. If he comes out ahead of these guys, then his pit stop would be definitely not for nothing. He would have gained quite a bit anyway, but he was second place before the pit stops, and he's got a big gap anyway. So he comes across the line, and pretty much these guys behind has gained quite a bit of time, not that much time. And he's also got Konzo, who hasn't pitted as well. So I think they're going to come across some traffic anytime soon as well. So Mats has lost out hugely to Nicola Soro. But for everybody else, they've gained quite a bit. So bring it on in terms of the battle for a potential podium. Literally anyone could get those in this league. Don't forget, mandatory 2-stop strategy in this league in One Hub Racing. They have to complete 2 stops, and if they don't do it, they will be disqualified. Luckily, no one is in threat of being disqualified for most seasons so far, apart from one I commentated on many seasons ago, I think it was season 13, when a championship was decided because one person forgot to pretty much pit under the 2-stop rule. There were a few people that forgot since then, but not many people, luckily, as well. But sometimes they have to gamble of when they like to come in. So, optimal pace on these softs. They're starting to lose their life now. 7 laps. It's pretty much gone. So the memes are starting to come into full force. And that is why Timo and Boompie is pretty much pitting at the optimal time, really. What I would expect on 8 laps as well. As we can see, I think in the background, Carmen's teammate of Casper trying to go past Axelot, as I was trying to go on board with him. He's passed him and he's up into 4th place. So pretty much the ones that are still left are the ones on those memes. They're going to stretch out as long as they can. Maybe they want to have a soft stint at the end, praying for a safety car. But your net race leader, Nicola Soro in P1, Timo in P2, and Unarmed in P3. But don't forget, Timo is on the fresher rubber. The overcut for Timo works perfectly for the likes of Unarmed, Matt, and Owen. Well, with them, but from Unarmed, Matt, and Owen, the undercut did not work for them, unfortunately, in terms of that run. So, a lot of work to do, but still, it's quite a long race, quite a technical circuit, and still chances for the top 7 to do well. If there's a safety car, they could be back into this as well, but the safety car ideally has to come in now, because otherwise the guys who have already pitted may have took advantage and maybe go on to set up another set of mediums or set up the hard compounded tyres if they started on the soft. So lots to work on. Colin, by the way, is catching up to Posh Evans, so Colin looking very good in that Mercedes. Another driver that's moved to ERT recently as well, and he does deserve that spot in the new in that ERT team after RDR folded, and he's doing a really good job as Posh Evans comes in, so he takes the race lead for now.
Yeah, Collins had really good pace on those mediums, but further back, Mats versus Sion Armed for the provisional P3 at the moment. Mats on the outside, Sion Armed on the inside, and he manages to get by, does the AlphaTauri, who have DRS from his teammate now, as well as they head down the main straight. Owen trying to capitalise on this, maybe trying to get 2 for 1, heading down into turn 1, but Sion Armed back down the inside, and Mats, is he able to get the move done? Mats all over the outside curb on the marbles, and Sion Armed retains the place. He gets back ahead of the AlphaTauri, and it's order as they were heading through the first sector once again. Brilliant racing from Mats and Sion Armed. Owen as well, managing just to realise he had to back out of that one, not go for the move, because that could have ended in absolute heartbreak for all three of them. But they need to keep up with Timo, who is actually starting to gain on Nicolo Soro in front. He's gained about half a second over the past lap. Nicolo Soro starting to maybe struggle on his medium tyres. But lap 10 of 27, about 18 laps to go in this one. When will these people that started on the mediums come into the pit lane? You would expect it around the next 2 or 3 laps maybe for them to come onto a set of softs, and then you would think another set of softs again to finish off their 2-stop. But the question is, will Timo be able to get past Nicolo Soro, and will Mats try go for another move on Sion Arms? But he is a bit too far back, heading into the Casio Triangle this time around. Colin and Carmentis is coming to the pit lane, same with Axelot and Lukey. Casper picks up a 3-second time penalty, our first of the race, as Nicolo Soro is under pressure here from Timo as they now head down into turn 1. Is Timo going for the move? He is. To the inside goes the AlphaTauri.
Wow.
Will he get the move? Yes, he will. The overspeed he had, he has more battery to play with, gets the move done, and your championship leader is back up into the lead of this race.
Absolutely controlled from Timo, absolutely perfect. That is why that he is your championship leader currently. He's had a few wins this season. He's looking to add another one to his list. Don't forget, he only joined at round number 2 when it was a sprint race in Imola. He got P3 in the sprint, P1 in the feature, got P3 in round number 3 in Hungary, and then P1 in Brazil, which was a very good race. So I think in tradition dictates he'll probably get another P3 today, but I think he's going to be on for the race victory. He has the pace out of everybody. He's got the fresher tyres out of everybody as well, so he can start to pull away. Look at that, he's already out of DRS range between himself and Nicolo Soro. So, to be honest, for Timo, it's his to lose currently as well. Interestingly, the strategies have changed again. Everyone's on different strategies. Posh Evans and Colin have decided to go on the soft tyres, and I think this could work out wonders for them, because Posh Evans is right on the back of Owen Wyatt. But surely, I think for them to benefit from this, they got to get past all of these cars, because they could be in a spot of bother. Waity, by the way, gets a 3-second tyre penalty due to multiple warnings. I don't know where that is. That might have been through Spoon Curve when he went wide a little bit. But oh, look at this. Sion Arms trying to defend from Nicolo Soro, and Canarmed gets past, and Max gets past as well. So Nicolo Soro absolutely struggling on his meters compared to everybody else. But bear in mind, Sion Arms and Max are on few laps fresher tyres than Nicolo Soro, so Owen Wyatt also has the pace as well to get past him too. So yeah, I'm a bit worried about those medium tyres that these drivers seem to be struggling a little bit. But for Sion Armed and Mats, they're doing a really great job. Let's hope they're not pushing too much too soon.
Yeah, I mean, those mediums are actually falling off probably a lot more than Nicolo Soro expected. They've seemed to have hit the cliff already. A little bit of a rear locking heading into the hairpin, really struggling through there. I think there was contact between Owen and Posh Evans. They're really close as they're heading through the right-hander as they head into Spoon Curve. Posh Evans maybe even looking for a move into the double left-hander, but no, just has to sit behind. and then try get the run into 130R. But Nicolo Soro really struggling at the moment. He is starting to fall down this order, and quite quickly but a lot of drivers don't have much battery to play with. A lot, Posh Evans, Owen Wyatt, and Nicola Soro all down to about 3%. Matt's maybe trying for a move on C on Arms for P2 in this race. But yeah, those medium tyres really have hit the cliff for Nicolo Soro. You might see Owen Wyatt get by heading down into turn 1. Matt's going to get past C unarmed as they head down the main straight. DRS versus no DRS. Owen going to the inside on Nicolo Soro. Is he going to get the move done? Yes, he is, to the inside. Brilliant move there from Owen, and now Posh Evans needs to get this move done on the Haas in front of him. Fresh softs versus old mediums. You would expect it to be done within the next lap or so, but he needs to get by quickly if he wants any chance to keep him with Owen Wyatt and the group in front of him. But look at that. The gap between the two AlphaTauris, 2.1 seconds, as Posh Evans still trying to get past Nicolo Soro as they head through the two Degners. Up into the hairpin could be his best bet to get the move done. He might be looking for it. To the inside goes the Alfa Romeo. Is he going to be late enough on the brakes? Nicolo Soro nearly goes into the back of Owen, but Posh Evans manages, Nicolo Soro, manages to stay ahead of Posh Evans. And that is P5 still for the Haas driver, and is closing in a bit in the slipstream of the McLaren.
Now the question is, out of the top 5, what tyres will they go on to next? Will they go on to another set of mediums where they'll probably have some fresh mediums, or will they go on to some softs that they use in qualifying? It does depend on when these drivers come in. If they pit in about lap 2021, they can get the softs to the end quite comfortably as well. But if not, there could be some other situations. As down the inside, trying to go on the inside anyway on Posh Evans. But Posh Evans couldn't get past Nicolo Soro, unfortunately, so he's going to try again. Both running low on a battery, but I'm saying that Nicolo Soro is running less on battery due to the flashing light at the moment. And, that was almost close on the back of Nicolo Soro. He almost hit him, heading towards the S's. Trying to avoid the curve. The curves could bite you if you hit it. And you can take a little bit, but not too much. Especially this curve, it can come back and bite you as Posh Evans stays behind Nicolo, which is not what he wants. Posh Evans knows that he's faster than these two on the fresher rubber, and if he gets past by about 7 laps on them, then it could be absolutely fine. But you're going to be losing ground too, the likes of T Unarmed and Mats as well. So Nicolo has got to defend for his life, and Posh Evans got to get past ASAP. By the way, because of all that squabbling, Colin has gained, I think, about 1 second on them, and he's almost within DRS range. So he is in a chance of getting pretty much a podium as well.
Yeah, you got to look out for Colin. He does have some decent race pace in these races. He's always up in the top 7 area, always there having his quiet race like usual, and he's slowly gaining on the cars in front. He is within DRS now. Owen Wyatt has just dropped out of DRS from CN Arms, so that could put him under attack from Nicolo Soro. That's a yellow flag. That's for Delta Hunter. It's just gone from bad to worse for him in today's race. Is Nicolo Soro maybe looking for an attack into the Casio triangle? But no, just going to sit behind the McLaren, focus up on his exit if he can, as they now head down the main straight once again. CN Arms all over the back of Mats as well. He's in the DRS. He'll probably just sit behind, though, as they head down into turn 1. But what about Nicolo Soro? What about Posh Evans? Is he able to get close enough? No, he is not. Collins dropped out of the DRS. He wasn't able to get in with it, into it with time. But Posh Evans still all over the back of Nicolo Soro. This is going to be very, very frustrating for the Alfa Romeo driver, just seeing the Haas logo on the back of the car in front of him, and he needs to get by, and he needs to do it now, but he's just not having the opportunities to. Very, very committed through Dunlop Low for the Alfa Romeo. Now into the two Degners. He needs to be even more committed through here to get a good run up into the hairpin, and he needs to be super late on the brakes if he wants any chance of getting past Nicolo Soro here. But no, has to sit behind once again. Nicolo Soro just very, very good on the brakes into the hairpin.
Yeah, lap 15th of 27, and I think we're going to get some really tight battles towards the end, so make sure that you stay with us, because we could have twists and tails galore. Anything could happen in this division, and it usually does. We've seen that in Brazil, we've seen that in many other races so far, we've seen it in Qatar as well in round number 1, where fuel issues could be a thing, and we have had no safety cars, so fuel issues could be back towards the end of this race. I've noticed without a safety car, you could be in danger of running out of fuel. So let's hope the drivers have put enough fuel in their cars as well, as Nicola Soro was going to get past Owen White. Debbie decides, you know what, I'm going to come into the pits.
That's an odd strategy call here from Nicola Soro. You think the only tyre he can go on is onto another set of the medium compound, and he does. That could be crucial come the end of the race. Yes, he will get a nice little undercut on maybe all the cars in front of him, maybe not Timo though, but it could be crucial come the end of the race. If he isn't able to keep those tyres in a good operating window like he was on his first stint on the mediums, he could be in big trouble. And he's come out in a bit of traffic as well with fatality. I think he's just got out ahead heading into turn 1. He has, luckily enough for Nicola Soro, he wasn't stuck behind him for a whole lap. Bosch Evans needs to try and get past Owen Wyatt now in the McLaren versus Alfa Romeo. And then we've also got Mats versus Sion Under. It's nearly 3 seconds the gap from Timo to the 2 cars behind him, as he really is stretching his legs in this race and is really just controlling that pace up in front. But further back in the midfield battle, J. Cole's up into P9, a very good race from him, from about 15th on the grid. 15th on the grid from J. Cole. He's up. He's actually the second biggest gainer in this race, because the biggest gainer, once again, who's had a good race pace, is Bumpai, up into P6, nearly behind Posh Evans, nearly within that DRS. And Colin also followed Nicola Soro in. I didn't see that, but he also followed Nicola Soro and is on another set of medium compound himself, as Mats gets past Cian Arms, and here comes Posh Evans. He's going for the move on Owen Wyatt. He's got the move done into turn 1. The Alfa Romeo up into 4th. It's an Alfa Romeo 3-4 in this race. It's 2x2 in the top 4, and Posh Evans, now to 4th place, needs to try and catch up to his teammate as Timo and Mats lead the way.
Timo still leads by 2.7 seconds to Mats, and with Sion Armed getting close to Matt, I think it's a bit of a worry what we saw in the first stint, that Mats was pushing to the absolute limits, and with everybody else on much better tyres and probably much better tyre management, it's allowing the 2 Alfa Romeos to catch up as well, and potentially Owen and Bumpai as well. It's a shame that Bumpai has got the time penalty added to his name currently, but let's hopefully that there'll be no safety cars, because a safety car would go on and potentially ruin that. As Nick's out the race! Nick's out the race! Safety car deployed! What did I just say, Steve? I have probably produced the biggest commentator's curse of my life. But Timo, well, for the guys who haven't stopped yet, which is, let me have a look. So from M1 down to Axelot, that gives them a free pit stop.
It is. That's certainly not what Nicola Soro and Colin needed. They can all go to a set of softs, you would think. Safety car will be out. They would be near. They will be on the cliff at the end, but they can make it to the end by the time the safety car's in. The safety car will be in about lap 19. So the end of lap 18. No, the end of lap 19. So lap 20. Yeah, they can take the softs all the way to the end. Yes, they'll be a tiny bit worn under the safety car, but overall, they can get out nicely here. Mats might lose a bit of time. He's dropped behind Cian Arms. Posh Evans will also lose a bit of time as well. Some drivers are going for the mediums, some drivers going for the soft. A real split in strategy here, but look what's happened to Nicola Soro. He tried the undercut on Owen, and it's ended up backfiring. He's now up, he's still in 5th place, and behind Owen.
That is a shame for Nicola Soro. To be fair, though, he wouldn't have predicted that there would be a safety car. I think none of them would as well, and I think it backfired for the ones who have already made their stops. But one thing I'm a bit perplexed about is Delta Hunter. He hasn't stopped yet, but I think he's a little bit further behind everybody else anyway. So he's going to come in to the pit lane, and Casper's going to come in as well for his free stop. Now, it's going to be a mixture of strategy. I had exactly the similar strategy for me when there was a safety car around about this time, except I hit someone behind the safety car, so I had to go onto some softs. They can do it, but a bit of a push, the tyres can be absolutely dead towards the end, so they've got to be careful in terms of their tyre management. So, let's look at positions gained for the drivers. So, Cian Armed has gained the most places out of the top 5, but Bumpai, like you were saying earlier, up 8 spots. He's gained a lot from that safety car, as does quite a few other drivers as well. J. Cole as well, up 4. And don't forget the top 12 in One Hub Racing do score points. So this is people's second chances to do well. But Boompai was not hoping for a safety car. He's got the penalty and he's got to drop Ray down.
Yeah, that is certainly not what people would have wanted with that safety car. I mean, it screwed up a bunch of driver strategies, and at the end of the day, it's the way the cookie crumbles, as they say. These things happen. It's racing, where it's unpredictable. You never know what's going to happen. You never know what's around the corner. The safety car should be in at the end of the next lap, depending on when Delta Hunter and Casper catch up. But the split strategy is something to look out on, because of course the softs will be quicker at first, then they will hit the cliff, and then they'll start falling down the order. Carmenton is back into the pit lane once again. He's heading onto 10 lap old mediums. Don't know if that's a wise strategy choice there for the Red Bull driver, but wait, see, back in. He's onto a set of softs. Delta Hunter's in. He's probably going to go onto a set of softs as well. He just probably wanted to catch up to the safety car a tad bit more before he came in. But Carmentonist, I don't think he's going to be able to do much with those medium compound. But I think that could have been an AI mistake, because of course he is ghosted and in AI mode. But yeah, these medium tyres versus soft tyre strategy is going to be something to look out for.
Yeah, I think with everybody on a mixture of strategies, I think no one's going to know who's on the right one, you know, with some people staying out, some people not staying out, some people on hard, some people on softs, some people on the mediums. I mean, we don't know who's going to win this one, but if I was a betting lady, I would go for Timo. Timo has got some fresh rubber on the softs, and usually if you're in the front and on the soft tyres, you can really start to pull away, and we know track position is key, so I'm almost certain that Timo is going to be the one that's going to be leading the charge currently heading into this one. But safety car should be in very, very soon. We are just waiting for Delta Hunter to catch up to the safety car. Let us know your thoughts in the chat as to who you think could potentially win this one. We still got 9 or 8 laps to go of this Japanese Grand Prix. If you're liking this action and you're watching this on YouTube back, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Hit that bell if you are new. If you're watching this on Twitch, make sure you follow us. Even if you're watching it on YouTube, follow us on Twitch as well. We want a decent amount of following, so it'll be good to get the following up as well. But safety car is going to be in for one more lap. And then, oh, safety car's in. Okay. That was a late safety car call. I think we're going to be in for absolute chaos, Steve.
Yeah, no one's had time to prepare. It's going to be a very, very late call. Timo has gone. He's left C unarmed in the dust in his wheel tracks. But we're 3 wide behind, maybe even 4 wide here. 2 Hasses and Owen White as they... This is for P6 on track as they head through the S section. Very, very close. How they've managed to not make contact there is beyond me. As Fatality spins round, he drops down the order. That's pretty much his race over at the moment, unless there is another safety car. Waitsy and Konzo scrapping as they head through Dunlop Curve. But how Boompai and Posh Evans didn't make contact in the first part of the S's is absolutely phenomenal. Brilliant racing respect by the pair of them as they stay in 6th and 7th as J. Cole gets past Lukey for P9. J. Cole's had a good race, and Axlock with a brilliant dive bomb down the inside. A little bit of contact made, nothing major, and he's up into P10 and he's Aston Martin on the hard compounder tyres. Going to be slow at the start, but later on they're going to be in their zone as Max runs wide at Spoon Curve. Owen Wyatt's up to P3. That's a brilliant safety car restart from him after being 3 wide down into turn 1. He's now up into P3. Nicholas Soro might try and get past Max as they head down into the Casio triangle, as now the Haas heading to the inside tries forcing Max to brake too late and go too deep into the corner, but it doesn't happen, so he has to sit behind the AlphaTauri once again. But this is super good racing between all these drivers and a lot of racing respect between them all.
I have to say, Owen's pace on those soft tyres is absolutely incredible. He set the fastest lap of the race. Let's hope he's got plenty of fuel in his car. But Jacob, by the way, has just got past Colin and is up to 8. So another driver that's benefited from the safety car is Jacob. He's loving life at the moment in P8, but he's got to get past a lot of other drivers in the process as well, which is going to be easier said than done. But Timo, my pick for the win of this race before the end of the safety car, is absolutely smashing it. 9/10 per second separating between himself and C Unarmed as well, and he's out of DRS range, which is really great to see from Timo. He could be on for his second race victory in a row, and that will solidify his place at the top of the drivers' standings, which will be great to see, won't it? As Axelot is trying to possibly do another dive bomb on Lukey, heading towards Spoon Curve then. Axelot's pace on the hards is pretty incredible. And it just goes to show it doesn't matter what tyre you go on, you go out, have a bit of fun, and absolutely smash it as we head towards past Spoon Curve. But unfortunately, Axelot unable to get past Lukey then. But you can see Axelot has got the best straight line speed out of anyone as well. DRS will be activated very, very soon as we head towards lap 22. But how do you get the 3-second time penalty due to multiple warnings? Owen's dropped a little bit on C Unarmed that lap as well, but I think he's gonna, no, DRS is disabled, I think, and it's going to be enabled next lap, I think. So yeah, DRS enabled this lap, so at the next time they reach the Casio Triangle, that is when these guys will start to push. I can tell that certain drivers are running a higher downforce setup than others, because look at the way Owen is closing in on the corners.
Yeah, Owen is absolutely flying on those soft compound tyres at the moment. He needs to make up a bit of time, though, to Timo when that time comes. But if he uses his battery and keeps within that DRS of C Unarmed, I know they're 1.5 seconds behind, but he can easily gain that back up if he's good through the corners and good on the tyres. But we're just going to have to wait and see who's better at the end of the race on their tyres and on their car itself. As Gonzo spins round at the top of Dunlop, he's down to 16th place. But Owen needs to get past C Unarmed quickly, because look, it's 1.8 seconds now. Timo is starting to push. He's starting to stretch his legs out in front. We're going to have about 5 laps to go, as actually Owen goes for it before he waits for DRS. He knew he was losing too much time to Timo up in front. He's got a beautiful move done into Spoon Curve down the inside, late on the brakes. Gets the move done. He's up into second place and now needs to start pushing. He needs to catch up to Timo. Look at that, 1.7 already. He used a lot of his battery, but he's gaining a lot on Timo in the process. So 1.6 as they head on to lap 23, but he's a huge slide through Casio. That's lost him 0.3 of a second, and that puts him under pressure from C Unarmed. I think you muted, Jess.
And I'm on mute again as C Unarmed gets past Owen White there, and I think that squirm from him into the Casio Triangle did not help him there, but he's going to benefit from the DRS later on. You never know, he may try and get the move past into Spoon Curve once more, or maybe he'll go for a different tactic, knowing that C Unarmed could know his tactics a little bit as well. But bearing in mind, the soft tyres will lose his optimum pace very quickly, so I think Matt and Nicolo could use it to this advantage to try and catch up to that DRS train too. This is going to be very, very exciting. No one is going to be wanting to make a mistake at the moment. Carl Mentis, by the way, is suffering from some screen freezes at the moment, which is why he's down in P18 and why he's on 14 laps on the medium compounded tyres. We can see the two Hatties trying to fight for P5 and Boompai, trying to go through Spoon Curve. We saw what Owen did earlier on, and Boompai was going to try and do exactly the same thing, but he didn't do it. And I think he's going to probably get some slipstream at the moment, but Porsche Evans is looking pretty decent as well. I think everyone is looking pretty decent. This could be pretty much a run to the line very, very soon, as we're about to start lap 24 of 27. And the gap now between C Unarmed and Timo, 1.8 seconds. Owen's going to have the DRS. Oh, a bit of a squirm once again for the McLaren driver. Surely I think it's going to be moved done for Matt as we head towards the start-finish straight. So is he going to go for a move once more? I think the DRS has helped Owen White. They're down the inside in towards turn number 1. And there he is up into P2. Now, I think it's not just a one-way fight for the lead. It's pretty much a 4-way fight for this race. Because I think Nicolas Oro, with his battle with Boompai, he's lost a lot of time.
Yeah, Nicolas Soro, these two hash drivers need to start working together, just keep within the DRS of Mats and try again on the three cars that are scrapping up in front. See unarmed, keeping with the McLaren of Owen. Owen's used all the battery he possibly can, and it's not going to be enough, you would think, to catch up to Timo. 4 laps to go in this race. It's going to be super, super close heading to the end on who will get second place and who will get the podium places in this one. Of course, the soft tyres will hit the cliff eventually, and they will start losing a lot of time to the medium runners behind. So we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. Nicolo Soro, obviously, on those older mediums, they're around about the same wear as the other medium compounds because of that safety car, but still unarmed in that slipstream heading into the Casio Triangle and 130R. Will he be able to get the move done on the brakes? You can see the McLaren flashing his light in front of him. That shows that he's derating. See unarmed, had to defend. Attack is the best form of defense, but wasn't able to get past Owen in front. But here we go now, heading down the main straight once again. It's going to be nearly 5 cars heading into turn 1 neck and neck as Owen tries to hold it round the outside of Sion Arms, who attacks him down the inside into turn 1 and 2. Is he going to be able to get the move done in the Alfa Romeo? Owen on the inside, there's contact made. They somehow are both still on the road, and it seems that Owen comes out on top as he manages to pull off a defensive masterclass there to stay in front of the Alfa Romeo and the AlphaTauri behind, as that's Posh Evans going wide, heading through Dunlop, and a spin. Oh, and he's taken out Codemasters with him.
That's huge. They're good friends as well off track, and I wonder how they're going to be after what has happened to Posh Evans and Colin there. And that's allowing Lukey and J. Cole to gain quite a few positions too, so it's not over yet. Posh Evans, oh, that's a bit harsh. 10-second time penalty. Track limits, surely that will get removed very, very soon as well. But look at that train for the final spots on the podium. You've got the softs are going to be absolutely knackered. You've got the ones on the mediums that, well, Matt is known for not having good tyres on the mediums that last long. We just don't know which is the right tyre to be on at this point. And see, unarmed, if I was him, I would try and go for a move right here, right now. It's going to be 3-1 into the Casio Triangle. We got Matt to the inside, almost pushes Owen right wide. And that's a weird tongue twister to say in one sentence, but there we go. As Matt gets past him up into P2. See unarmed, there's lost like 2 plates could have been. Nicolas Soro trying to get past Owen Wyatt. Going to be 3 wide towards turn 1. Surely someone's got to back out. No one backs out. Keeping it clean. This is great stuff from this P1 division. If I were any driver watching this, it will be absolutely amazing. Because Posh Evans, by the way, is out of the race. It's too late for a safety car. I think he's retired in the pits. Anyway, Nicolas Soro, by the way, what a move for him to get up into P3. The soft tyres are starting to die out at the moment. And if I was to not see unarmed, I would try and get past McLaren ASAP.
Yeah, Nicolas Soro and Matt's very opportunistic with their moves. Bubai also tried getting through, but was just boxed in by everyone in front of him. Nicolas Soro, if he finishes behind Timo, it will be brilliant for his championship. Of course, reducing the deficit he will lose in points. We're just going to have to wait and see as we have these 1.5 laps to go. We're about to enter the final lap in a few moments' time. Matt's 1.9 seconds behind his teammate. He's starting to push. Maybe they even gain onto the back of Timo by the end of this race due to the softs hitting that cliff. 1.6 now, 1.5 as they head into 130, or 1.4, 1.3. That gap is really closing. 1.2 as we're about to head onto the final lap. The final time of using DRS here in the P1 tier. 1 second is now the gap. Here comes Nicolas Soro. Pai gets past Sianan, they're side by side heading down the main straight. But Nicolas Soro to the inside. Is he going to get the move down on Mats into turn 1? There's contact made. There's a big crash. Big crash. Mats is round. Nicolas Soro is round. And that is disaster for second place in the championship. All he had to do was get the move done cleanly or just sit behind. He doesn't do that. It's 1.3 between Owen Wyatt and Timo as they head into the Dunlop curve. I don't think Owen's going to catch up by enough, but Sian Arms, he is going to be able to get on the podium if he's able to hang on to Bumpai. That's going to be the battle we need to look out for, because of course if Bumpai doesn't have any more warnings than he does, then obviously he might be able to get the penalty removed if it was a bit of a dodgy one. by the game, but that's crucial for the championship. Nicolo Soro just had to get the move done cleanly. He just had to know when to back out. But here we go into Spoon Curve. Bumpire versus C Unarmed. Owen is looking comfortable for P2 here. Timo's looking comfortable for P1. But here we go. Bumpire using everything he has, heading down the straight into 130R. Is he going to be able to get close enough for a move into the Casio triangle? He might try it. He might go for the move. No, he just has to sit behind, but up in front. He makes it 2 from 2 in the past 2 races. Timo wins your ERT Japanese Grand Prix with new boy Owen getting 2nd place. The rookie on his debut gets 2nd, C Unarmed in 3rd, and J. Cole finishes in 4th place. A brilliant race from the Alpine. And that is the end of your Japanese Grand Prix, with Mats and Nicolo Soro eventually ending up P7 and P8. What a final lap.
I think, is this one of the races of the season? Because I think this could be as well. I know Guitar was quite crazy. I think this was even more crazy as well. And apart from obviously the last lap with Nicolo Soro and Mats coming together, for the majority of the race, it was very clean. Them going like 3 or 4 wide into turn 1 was absolutely insane. So, we have to pick 2 drivers of the day. I don't think we could pick them because a lot of these drivers have done so well. I would have picked Bumpy, but he's got, if without that penalty, he would have got my driver of the day vote. But I think the driver of the day will have to go to someone else due to his penalty, unfortunately. But fair play to Bumpy for climbing up. I think Bumpy has found some pace on this game, which is great to see. Shame we didn't find it at the start of the campaign, but his race pace is showing. I wonder if he took his engine penalty here. I wonder if he would have been up there, potentially. We'll have to wait and see. We'll run for your order. Timo gets almost a clean sweep, but he didn't get pole position, but he got everything else, the win and the fastest lap inside the top 10. Owen from 8th to 2nd. Brilliant stuff from him. C Unarmed in 3rd. Pretty much no one apart from Timo, who was inside the top 5, finished inside the top 5, which was crazy. So then we got Bumpy, Lukey in 6th as well. Great result from him. Mats and Nicolo Soro, they were lucky to get 7th and 8th, but I'm certain that incident will be investigated by the stewards. We got Larkin, Axelot and Colin in 11th. Casper in 12th. Then we got Delta Hunter, Kondo, Waitsy, Fatality, Carl Mendes and Posh Evans, your top 18. And one retirement belongs to Nick. What a shame for him, but that safety car definitely spiced things up a little bit. I literally don't know who to pick for driver of the day. There's just so many contenders. It literally could go down to anyone, but Steve, I'll let you pick first. Who is your driver of the day, and what would you like to ask that driver?
I'm going to give it to J. Cole, and I'm going to ask him, after that qualifying performance, was you expecting a top 4 finish around here?
Damn it, I was going to pick him as well, so that's my pick gone, but that probably makes it easier, and I have to potentially give the win, the driver of the day, to our race winner. I could have given it to any driver in the top 5. They all did so well. Everyone was a close second, but because with Timo absolutely dominating, he had pressure from everywhere, and he was able to get some battles done left, right, and centre. And he dominated by 2 or 3 seconds, which I have to say is incredible. And he gets his 2nd win of the season as well. So my question is, your 3rd win of the season, your 2nd win in a row, are you starting to believe that you could win this championship? And that is my question to Timo. And of course, Steve got his pick with J. Cole as well. You can vote for your driver of the day nominations when the voting poll opens, potentially tonight or tomorrow. It depends on when we can get the notes in time. I'm trying to get my commentary notes up because we got to mention the sponsors, because we forgot to mention the sponsors coming up soon. But whilst I get the sponsors up, next week, Las Vegas. And what makes it interesting, it's going to be a sprint race. The 2nd sprint race of the campaign. I forgot it was a sprint race until I looked at it on the calendar. I could see a lot of drivers taking the sprint penalty there, because otherwise you're going to be losing a lot of laps with the engine that you have from the start. I think we can see most people taking it there, don't you think?
Yeah, most people are going to be taking their engine penalty there. It's the obvious choice, and long back straight, The whole track is pretty much overtaking opportunities, except from a little bit of the middle sector where it gets a little bit tight and twisty. But other than that, every corner pretty much is an overtaking area, so you might as well take it there. And to be honest, if a lot of drivers do take it there, not many of them are going to be out of position, if you think of it, because there'll be a good few drivers taking it. And we've only had, what, one? And I think it was Casper, I think, that took it in Hungary. So unless someone took it in Brazil, I can't remember. But
Casper took it somewhere in Imola, I believe. But he did admit he's going to take it again. So he's going to take one more penalty. So pretty much, no.
If everyone takes their engine pen away, no one's going to be out of place. It's just going to be luck.
So everyone has got to take it at some point. If everyone takes it in Las Vegas, it's going to be about numbers, isn't it? But
it's gonna just be the luck of the draw.
But I believe I must say I would. If everyone takes it in Las Vegas, it's going to be the most boring qualifying ever. So can some people not take it at Las Vegas to make qualifying interesting? Thank you very much. As with all the other tiers as well. But anyway, we are going to wrap things there. So thank you guys so much for watching this race. We hope you enjoyed it. And a final quick word of our sponsors. Next Level Racing sponsors the league by providing an NLR FGT light wheel plate edition and one seat to one of our champions. One of our second or third place drivers in the Tiers Championship will win a Next Level Racing GT Elite light wheel plate edition and ERS2. And every driver will have a chance to win a Next Level Racing 2.0 wheel stand. Also to Pure Sims Gear, sponsor the league by providing their gloves or socks to the driver who has the most combined fast lap and poles. Aztec Sim Sport sponsors the league by providing a multitude of prizes with different ways to win them. And also the Mystery Shirt Box sponsors the league by providing one of their Mystery Shirt Boxes to the winner of 100 Racing's driver ranking for season 23. Our partners Vespertine, who supports our official apparel and also the league as well. Elite Racing Team at ERT Esports partners the ERT Go Get Stuff Awards and league trophies. And SimGrid, powered by SimGrid, run our seasons through their community and platforms. For those of our sponsors, thank you, Steve, very much for joining us once again in the commentary. Thanks to all the commentators for tonight. You've been amazing as usual. We will see you same time next week, 8 PM UK time, on YouTube this time, for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Will they take the engine penalty there? Will Timo make it another win in the feature? The questions will be announced next week in Las Vegas. Until then, have a good evening. Stay safe. Make sure you don't get too hot. And keep cool. And goodbye.